we're racing well, then that's good fun. If we're not, then we work that out, and it's never a problem. We just have enjoyment of being out here, and there are so many other great teams that it's just fun racing against them.
Of course, there's no point being the fastest on foot, seat and saddle if you haven't got the plan right.
The more you do of it, the easier that gets, and it does stop you sleeping at night though, because you find it's going through your head all the time, and you should be sleeping, but the logistics are ticking over a bit much.
We're looking to try and hold on to our title from last year, but as I said, so long as we have a good fun race, we're not too concerned in the end where we come. But if we're racing well, we should be up in the top lot.
So the preparation is over, now it's down to action, and the canoeists lead the way on the first day's racing. This is a critical stage. The canoeists will be handing over to a swimmer for the next leg, and to get in front at this point will be a morale boost for the team. And it's Ian Tordoff from Team Wales who quickly establishes a lead. He's a member of the British kayak squad and should be the fastest here.
I mean, the canoeing was a good start for me. Although I've paddled against these people before, it's always worth to see what it's like when you're actually in different boats, and today was a way of measuring up the opposition, and I think it all went to plan.
Ian's plan has worked, but Team Compede Maxim also have an international class paddler.
Managed to get in the boat quickest and off the beach, but Ian Tordoff soon caught me, and managed to stay on his wash for 2 or 3 minutes before he put in a big sprint, and I wasn't able to live with that.
20 miles into the race, and the paddlers reach the white sands of Eriskay Island. And it's Aled Rees for Team Wales who takes the virtual baton and is first into the swim. Next, it's Team Compede, while Nicky Davis from Team Parrott, the favourites, can only watch. These are the 3 teams who will lead the race for the rest of the way. Former World Surf Life-Saving Champion Aled Rees is first to finish the 3-kilometre swim and hands the baton over to Dylan Jones. Team Wales swing into their plan for covering the next land section as quickly as possible. The route will take them over the hills of Eriskay and South Uist. Looking for points rather than pace, Brendan Bolland and Johnny Whittaker from Compede Maxim decide to tackle the next section of the run as a pair. Over 4 days of racing, the teams will check in at the highest point of every one of 20 separate islands. Ben Moor at 620 metres is the highest point on South Uist. In a place that's blasted by Atlantic storms for much of the year, it's unusually hot today and everyone is finding it hard going. Dylan Jones from the leaders Team Wales is really struggling.
It's been really hot weather here, which I think we're taking a bit of time to adjust to, and the wind as well obviously saps your energy. And on the long run, which was over 2 hour run, Dylan got really dehydrated and got cramps, so he actually had to stop for sort of 20 minutes to sort of get himself together. And it's unlucky because he wouldn't have known that it was going to happen. He obviously hadn't been hydrated enough beforehand, but the team's still upbeat. We're coming back through the field now, so we're still keen and we're still giving it our best.
With Dylan Jones struggling, Team Compede Maxim, fielding a pair of runners on this section, remember, have moved into the lead. They're not the fastest out on the course though. Jim Davis of Team Parrott Lithgow is faster, but he's out on his own. Parrott will have to double up on more sections later in the race. Parrott are in second place at the moment, and Jim's sister Nikki is well aware they have 3.5 days to go.
We're trying to think we are holding a bit in reserve, but whether we are or not, I don't know. We're trying to think steady on, calm down a little bit, because it's easy to make mistakes and go too fast, but we'll see what happens.
Eval on the island of North Uist is only 540 metres high, but negotiating the maze of bogs is harder than climbing the mountain. Team Compede Maxim's specialist runners Brendan Bolland and Johnny Whittaker are first to the top. The race winner will be the fastest team, of course, but you must get the required points total along the way. Compede Maxim are getting points and going fast. They'll be hard to beat. Team Parrot Lithgow are second to the checkpoint, and using their canoeist for the run, they are slower than Compede, but they have chosen to put 3 team members onto the summit, and that counts extra points towards the required total, which means runner Jim Davis will be able to do more fast sections on his own later in the race.
Right, Jim, have you got a good line off then?
How do you even think about starting to navigate in this wild and complex terrain? Looking from above, at least you can see where the water starts and stops. But at ground level, the reality is that there are mounds and ditches, and you can't see the bogs and lakes until you're in them and face a dead end. Map and compass work has to be spot on. Even race favourites Team Parrot Lithgow are finding it difficult.
We had a bit of a navigational error after the Eval run, which set us back about maybe 20 minutes, but not quite sure yet.
Team Parrot Lithgow's Morgan Donnelly is one of Britain's fastest mountain runners, but even he found himself surrounded by water and had to swim his way out of it on the last run of the day.
I'm not sure.
That mistake allows Team Compede to finish first, 6 o'clock at the end of day 1.
I think our strengths are that we're very flexible. We can all run, we can all bike and we can all navigate. I thought we'd be up there, but the Team Parrot are very strong, so we sort of expected them perhaps to be a little bit ahead.
In fact, Parrot Lithgow have 43 minutes to make up on the Isle of Harris tomorrow.
Tomorrow, it's going to be a very hard day. Harris is a very hard place to be, so we're all looking forward to that. Big mountain bike ride, Clisham run as well, so we're all going to be gunning for it really.
After their great start, Team Wales have lost over an hour on the leaders, but they do have the fastest kayaker, and at 6 in the morning, the kayaks leave North Uist and put to sea across the Sound of Harris. Their landlubber teammates, meanwhile, cross to Harris by ferry. Compede Maxim have poached the lead on day 1 then, so what's the secret?
You just got to be able to know the terrain and know, you know, if you took a certain route that's going to be, even if it maybe just a minute faster than another route which perhaps you've got a lot of heather on the hill, that's obviously going to slow you down. So you've got to be aware of what the map's telling you, what the terrain is like and how you're going to be able to cross it quickest.
For their closest rivals, the day has started badly.
I just remarked what a fantastic day we were going to have today as we were driving along early this morning. And
a deer wandered out in front of the van. The deer's winded, the van's off the road.
you never know what might happen in these races.
Nicky's taking it well, but Parrot will have to hitch rides with other teams for the rest of the day, and this will ruin their race plan. It's a setback for Parrot, and Compede Maxim can feel quite relaxed as they set out on the first land section of the day, a bike ride of 40 miles. Doubling up for points, John Brook and Liz Cowell start the section. But as the race goes on, they can use their van to move fresher team members ahead, changing old legs for new and keeping the pace going. With no van of their own, that's exactly what Parrot Lithgow can't do. They're forced to use the same 3 people for the whole of the section. More time lost. But while Nicky, John and Morgan ride, Jim is somewhere in someone else's van, resting in preparation for the mountain run over Clisham, the highest point of the Outer Hebrides and the section where Parrot Lithgow must make up time. Once again, Compede Maxim's pairing of Johnny Whittaker and Brendan Bolland will take on the run. Jim Davis for Parrot Lithgow simply has to be the fastest here. It's the longest mountain section of the race, 20 miles, 5 mountains and 10,000 feet of sometimes vertical climbing. Sheer bliss for Jim. Into the mist next to find the top of Clisham, the highest point of the whole race. It's been another great run for Brendan and Johnny of Compede Maxim, but Jim Davis has made up 20 minutes, and that gives Parrot Lithgow some real hope. Join us in part 2 when Parrot get their van and their challenge back on the road and make this a race all the way to the finish.
We can still win, Sean. We can still win. Go hard, but don't make mistakes.
Sunday, Sky Sports 1, the Merseyside Derby.
Lithgow are trying once again to catch Compede Maxim. But now it's time for mountain bike technique to be tested. John Brooke of Compede Maxim leads the way. It's not a course that could really be described as a bike ride. This cowl of Compede Maxim is finding there's almost as much pushing as pedalling. The runners rest, while mountain bike specialist John Bargett keeps up the fight for Parrot Lithgow. The end of another day's mayhem, and John Brooke keeps Compede Maxim in front. It's been a fantastic team performance so far, but much of their success is down to the running and map reading of Brendan Bolland. On solo sections, Brendan is the fastest runner in the race.
I'm normally running 65 miles, 15 hours a week running plus cycling. As I say, in the normal sports I do, fell running, mountain biking, orienteering, it tends to be a solo sport. So it's marvellous to be able to do a race like this where you're relying on your other team members.
At the end of the day, Team Compede Maxim's lead is 66 minutes over Team Parrot, with Team Wales a further 66 minutes behind in third. Team Wales and Compede Maxim once again dominate the canoeing at the start of day 3. And Alad Rees of Team Wales once again outswims everyone.
Okay.
Everyone except for Nicky Davis of Team Parrot. With teams constantly gaining and losing time to each other, it could be mistakes that decide who finally wins this race.
The deciding thing will be over the next 2 days when people start to tire, whether they can still think through all the logistics as well as all the physical aspects of the race.
Just got to hold it all together, and an hour's not much. If you get lost or your bike breaks or something, minutes can go. So.
Just the map, John. The map.
The map.
The map.
Early on day 3, and there's just such a logistical hitch for leaders Compede Maxim. A few potentially vital minutes lost to Team Parrot, but why?
A touch of confusion where we were a map short, so our runners didn't have a map to go straight out with. I was supposed to pick up a map and hand it over, but I was under the impression there was a timeout here, which there wasn't.
Once Jim has the map the right way round, he can set about climbing the 2 highest peaks on the Isle of Lewis. Another 20-mile run in which he'll be looking to continue Parrot Lithgow's recovery.
There was a really good bit up there because there was a lot of boulder hopping and it takes your mind off it. But I didn't want to push it too hard, because if you blow up, you can just lose. You need to go backwards, and then you just zigzag up hills and you're in all sorts of trouble.
Jim Davis is too fast for the rest today, and mainly thanks to his running, Parrot Lithgow have made up 36 minutes on day 3. They're just 30 minutes down now going into the last day. Team Wales are too far back to catch the lead too. Accessible only by sea, the paddlers arrive on Great Berneret Island to run to its highest point. Sean Morley of Compede Maxim paddles faster. Keith Brown of Parrot Lithgow has mountain running experience, which should work to his advantage here.
That was 12.
But like many beasts of the sea, some of them are not too mobile on dry land. Keith Brown runs well, and for the first time in the race, Parrot Lithgow lead in a kayak section. It's a tense time for Compede Maxim. Parrot Lithgow are just 20 minutes behind, and the leaders can't afford the slightest error. The last stage of the race takes the teams to the finish line in Stornoway, but before they can finish the race, every team member except the kayaker must separately complete an orienteering course in the castle grounds, a final hurdle to trip people up. And when they've done this, they'll have to carry a log for a mile to the finish line. The orienteering takes an hour and a half for everyone to do, and it's going well for Parrot Lithgow. One of their four, Nikki Davis, has completed the course, while Compede Maxim have not yet even started orienteering. In fact, they can't start until Johnny Whittaker arrives from the last run into Stornoway, and he's getting later and later. Worrying moments then as Compede Maxim's lead drips away, and Parrot Lithgow find themselves in with a chance of winning.
We were running behind Jonathan, maybe almost 5 minutes behind, and then we got to the transition and he wasn't anywhere to be seen. So he had dropped from sight for a while, but that's the nature of the terrain. So there's no idea.
Yeah, and then we had like nearly to fall across the thing. Oh God, no way. It started like a lane up and started like...
We don't know what's happened to him. He's turned an ankle, got lost, turned the wrong way. It's very difficult to get lost on there because it's a coastal stretch. As long as he keeps to the west and keeps his feet dry, he should be all right. So their team's gone out to look to see where he is.
And eventually the Coast Guard helicopter joins in the search. It turns out that Johnny has suffered a groin strain while crossing the bogs towards Stornoway. Compede Maxim have lost 30 minutes finding him, but can now start the orienteering section. It's been a day of cruel bad luck for Johnny, his team now 10 minutes behind Team Parrot Lithgow. Compede Maxim's John Brook, though, won't give up the race yet.
Come on, Liz! Are you cycling? You're cycling, you're cycling.
Yeah, we're running. Calm down.
Calm down, we've already lost half an hour. Let's calm down a minute. Okay, Morgan's lost. Just be clean and quick. Don't look, you'll find them. They're all obvious. Just go to the places.
Then that one.
CP9 first.
Yeah. Go to that one, go round.
Yeah.
Circle, come in like that, yeah?
We can still win, Sean. We can still win. Go hard, but don't make mistakes.
With Johnny Whittaker injured, kayaker Sean Morley has to pick up map and compass. Lucky for Compede, he's a decent runner. Parrot Lithgow have the lead for the first time in the race, but they have no idea how far in the lead they are. Team Parrot have completed the orienteering. Now all they have to do is work out the fastest way to carry this log a mile to the finish. The stress is getting to them too.
No! It'll be easier than take the two and you hold that. That's all right. Let's get it on. And somebody hold it on the seat.
Well, that'll do. Can't we just walk it like this?
Yeah.
Run!
Yeah. Can we leave it this point, yeah?
Yeah.
You keep the bike upright, I'll keep the log on the seat.
It's the mat board.
It's not graceful, but it is effective. Team Parrot Lithgow are the first across the line, and more importantly, far enough ahead of Compede Maxim to win the race.
Well, it was so close anyway. There was nothing in it between the two teams. I think we made one or two mistakes, and then there was the deer. Hitting the deer caused us a bit of trouble, to say the least. But it was nip and tuck the whole way, and they're a great team.
And but for that half second of bad luck, Compede Maxim would have won the race.
There you go, finish.
I mean, if we're going to lose, we're going to lose by as little as possible. So, but then again, Parrot have run their van into a deer. They wrecked their van and didn't give up. They got a radiator fitted whilst they hitched lifts to carry on the race. So
we were hoping to retain the title, and we were definitely up there, from the start. So we've kept going. I think no matter what level you compete at, just to finish the race is a fantastic achievement, and I think everyone that does finish, they'll feel like they've had a real fantastic week, and yeah, you feel great at the end of it.
So after 2 rounds of the British Championship, Team Wales are in the lead, with Parrot Lithgow and North Face in a tie for second. Next week, it's on to Northern Ireland for the adrenaline rush. 5 days of non-stop racing through day and night. Destination, the edge of survival.